G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back to the ZiggyD Weekly. It's a cold, rainy, wet, and tired day here in Australia today, but that's okay because I've got coffee and we've got gaming to keep us warm and inside, out of the cold and out of the wet. And as usual, I would like you guys to try and guess what's in the mug this week. Now, here's your clue. I'm already drinking a coffee out of this cup. So what's in my mug this week? Anyway, let's jump straight into the ZiggyD Weekly. And I want to kick things off by just saying I went and saw the new Riddick movie last night. I'd been pretty keen to see this. I'm a big fan of the other Riddick movies. They're just so damn fun. They're just such good movies, such good fun movies. And you know, I wasn't sure whether this was going to be pretty dodgy or not, but I have to say it was perfect. The new Riddick movie is perfect. It had everything I wanted in a Riddick movie. So let me paint this picture for you guys of this movie and how perfect it is as a Riddick movie. I'm sure any Riddick fans here who haven't seen the movie yet will know pretty much what I'm talking about here. So, the first, I don't know, half hour or so is back-to-back scenes of Riddick doing things he needs to do to survive. You know what I mean? You know the scenes where you're like, oh no, he's gonna do that, he has to do that, he has to like re-break his leg to reset it, or he has to do all this other stuff to, you know, I'll try not to throw out any spoilers, but you know when you have to do those survival things, those things you don't want to do. You don't want to, he has to eat that, he has to kill that, he has to do that to himself, he has to do that painful thing. He does these badass things to survive, and there's back-to-back scenes of it at the start, which is just so perfect. I love it. It's just what I want in a Riddick movie. And then it moves on to, from that, it goes directly into Riddick, you know, changing view away from Riddick and having Riddick be the serial killer guy again. You know, the guy that, there's like this group of mercenaries and he slowly picks them apart, dismantling them, killing them in freaky, scary ways, one by one, you know, dismantling their crew. So it goes from Riddick doing what he needs to do to survive into Riddick being that murderer, you know, switching away from Riddick view, perfect. And then there's even another scene where Riddick has to do something again to survive. It's just so perfect. And then of course there's like lots of scenes of Riddick being badass and doing badass kills. And there is even, as you would hope, I'm sure, from seeing, you know, Pitch Black, for example, or pretty much any of the other Riddick movies. I'm pretty sure there's one scene at least in each of those movies. It's a bit of a trope for him now, but where he promises he's going to kill someone in a certain way, and then does that. So, perfect movie, I have to say. I had a lot of fun watching the Riddick movie last night. And if you guys are, you know, somewhat Riddick fans, or maybe if you even aren't Riddick fans, I highly recommend checking them out and checking out this new one as well, because such a good movie. I loved it so much. I haven't seen a really, really good movie that I really thoroughly enjoyed that much in quite a while, so that was pretty cool. But let's jump into a question now, and then I'll talk about what happened last week. So, the first question comes in from Nitro2031, and this wasn't actually submitted to my Q&A@ZiggyD.tv email that you guys should submit your own questions to, but I thought I'd pull it out anyway. He asks, hey ZiggyD, I was just wondering if you knew whether Reaper of Souls is coming to consoles. And I have to say, based on the release time for the console version coming out now, and then the planned release, you know, not the non-official release announcement so far is early 2014. That seems to me like that's plenty of time for them to develop it alongside the PC version and console version at the same time and release them at the same time. So I highly suspect that we're going to get PC version, console version, Reaper of Souls at probably the exact same time, if not console version will come slightly later. But there's really no reason for them to not do it. So I definitely think we'll be seeing Reaper of Souls hit for the console, because I know they're going to get plenty of sales from it. Even myself, we've been having me and Amy have been having a ton of fun playing on the console version. I'm pretty sure even though I'll be getting Reaper of Souls on PC, I might get it on the console version again as well if she's still keen to play then. So it's pretty awesome, and I can't see any reason for him not to. So I definitely think, with 99% certainty, that we will be seeing Reaper of Souls on the console. So let's talk about what happened last week in terms of my content. I did a fair bit of Hearthstoning. You know, not all of you guys are into the Hearthstone, and some of you guys trying not to watch too many Hearthstone videos since you don't currently have beta access. And I can understand that can be quite painful. I've certainly been in that position myself for other games in the past. But I went ahead and opened 40 packs, and you guys seemed to enjoy that, and I did a video of that and just talked about the cards. It was just kind of a casual chill out half an hour, have a coffee session. As usual, I'll link all of these things in the description below for you guys to check out. I also made a sweet Warlock deck, and I mean sweet! It's so fun! It's an Enrage Warlock deck where I focus on damaging my own minions to make them more powerful, and it's pretty fun. I made a video guide about that. It was initially just meant to be like an educational guide about the deck I was making, but the two game commentaries I did for it were like two of the best games I've ever played in my life of Hearthstone, two of the most fun games. So even if you're not too interested in like learning about decks or anything like that, I highly recommend checking out that video just because that first game especially was so damn entertaining. There was some sick plays in there. Check it out, check it out. Even if you're trying to avoid Hearthstone content at the moment, I recommend checking it out. I'm sad that not everyone will watch it because I just think it's a guide. Oh, I just spilled coffee on myself. I don't even know how. Okay. I'm good. It's okay. Too excited about my Hearthstone plays. Next up, I did a preparation guide for Reaper of Souls. I talked about how I'm preparing for Reaper of Souls Diablo 3. And then, like the day after, we got a bunch of info that was data mined out. But based on the data mine info, nothing's really changing too much. The only thing that's changing from that preparing from Reaper of Souls guide that I made was I probably, if you're thinking about doing ladders when the expansion pack comes out, then you probably won't want to do too much Paragon farming because it's only going to benefit your non-ladder characters. But if you're going to play non-ladder anyway, don't plan on getting into ladders, then go ahead and Paragon farm. Your plans shouldn't really change too much. My plans haven't changed much. I'm still getting all of my characters to 60 and all that good jazz. So that's my plans there, and you can check out those in a bit more detail in that video. And then I also released 2 videos on the actual data mined info for Reaper of Souls as well. I think I did one on the Demon Hunter, talking about her new skills that are coming up so far, and I did just a general overlook of what's coming in the expansion pack, which is all pretty exciting. The expansion pack looks really, really sick, I have to admit. I'm trying to contain my hype a little bit, but I'm in full on hype mode. I can't kid anyone about this. I'm in full on hype mode, and it's pretty exciting. It's gonna be a long wait. I want to just go in cryostasis or something like that until the game comes around. But as someone pointed out in my other video, if I do that, I might end up overshooting and waking up to a bunch of sea otters taking over the world or something like that. So yeah, we all know that story. Anyway, let's go into another question. Rickie asks, in Diablo 3, which builds will convert over well to the console? And having played where I have a 60 Barbarian now, and Amy has a 60 Monk, and we've been playing around with a few builds. I played some Whirlwind build, and I originally thought that a lot of builds like Whirlwind and Archon wouldn't work well on the console because of the reduced mob density, but in practice, it still seems to work really well. Whirlwind especially, I'm not sure about Archon. I imagine it'll still work well. You just have to stick to zones where you won't lose Archon. But the mob density seems good enough, just a little bit less, like Paxes are a little bit smaller in general, but still good enough to keep up Whirlwind and Archon. So pretty much all of the builds that work on PC ended up transferring over well to the console, which I didn't expect at all. I thought there'd be a lot of different builds, but I feel like there's a lot more freedom to play around with different skills on the console as well. The only other thing I have to mention is that if you're playing co-op on the console, keep in mind that a lot of PC builds, a lot of them are optimized for solo play, because most people farm solo. Some more people are farming co-op and in parties now on the PC since some recent changes that kind of buffed party play. But in general, most builds are for solo play. For example, my Cinder Strafe Demon Hunter build is very much a solo build, and playing co-op with that just kind of doesn't work too well because you need to be able to fuel that build properly, and having other people in your party hurts that. Rickie also asked if I have any opinions on the Final Fantasy XIV going onto the console. He asked to port it onto console. I have to say, Final Fantasy XIV released dual for both PC and console, and so far I've heard that the console version is perfect. Probably the best MMO experience you can have on a console, I think. So my thoughts on that are that it's awesome. I wish more games could do that. Being able to cross-play between console and PC is fantastic. Sure, some people like to complain about, oh, the console newbies, they're not going to do well enough in raids and stuff like that. But in reality, I think most good players are still going to be good players, and bad players are still going to be bad players, whether they're on console or PC. And love, man, we're all gamers. Just everyone, love, peace and love, play games together, have fun, cross-platform if we can. I'm completely happy about that. So, let's talk about what's coming up for the next week. I'm planning on doing a Hearthstone Arena run. I've come up with pretty fun theming for that I think you guys might enjoy, but I know some of you really don't want to see Hearthstone content. I've gotten some messages and comments about it, but I have to say, screw you guys, I'm going to play and cover the games I really enjoy. But I know some of you guys are actually enjoying the Hearthstone content, so I'll keep putting that out, and the rest of you, just ignore it. But I'm planning on some Hearthstone Arena runs to do that. I think that'll be pretty fun. Do some commentaries on that, because I'm not amazing, but I'm doing okay, and it might be fun. It might be fun. I'll try and be as educational, entertaining as possible. Next up, I've also got some more Path of Exile videos planned. I still want to do some map guides, and there's some other stuff coming for Path of Exile. We've got a new patch coming up in maybe a week or two with some new skills and stuff, so I'll probably cover those in a bit more detail. I made a teaser analysis video on those the other day, actually, that I didn't mention, and you can check that out. 2 new trap skills, a trap and a mine skill, pretty exciting stuff, so plenty of Path of Exile stuff still to come, just didn't get too much of it done over the past week. I also want to make a Final Fantasy XIV video with some thoughts on MMOs and how I play and enjoy MMOs, and asking you guys how you guys play and enjoy MMOs, because, yeah, I'll get into that in the video. But anyway, I'm also planning some more Diablo 3 content with other streamers. Like, I'm trying to reach out to as many people as possible, because I think some of the best value content I can give you guys sometimes is content I make with other people, like actually getting together. And I think in the ARPG industry at the moment, like in our genre, people are all a little bit shy. We don't kind of talk to each other much. The streamers don't talk to each other too much. So they do some cross-streaming things, but a lot of the YouTubers don't talk to each other too much. And it's just because people, they're afraid to reach out. This is something I learned at a recent VidInc trip that I went to, that people are just often, it doesn't matter who they are, they kind of just want people to reach out to them. So I've been reaching out to people and been getting some awesome responses so far. Talking to a few people, I don't know if I should mention, but a few bigger streamers that some of you guys might like, and a few other really cool and nice streamers that I've met so far as well. So looking forward to making some content. We'll make some maybe like mini podcast sort of things, and also going to have some people coach me on how to build gear sets for my characters that I've just gotten to 60. So preparing for Reaper of Souls with some new cheap but effective gear sets, and have some coaching sessions with that. Should be pretty fun, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that as well. And that's pretty much it for what I'm planning at the moment. I'll just try and get that stuff. That should be more than enough content for the next week. I'll try and do 1 to 2 videos a day as per usual. Next up, we have some more questions. While leveling, is it better to use a few skills and then level up the rest for endgame, or use all of them at once? And this question comes in from NovaK. Now, the thing about Path of Exile leveling is that there's kind of a point in every build where you switch over to your actual build's skills, but before that point you're pretty much going to be using one of the good leveling skills. If you're playing a bow character, then this is probably going to be Poison Arrow. If you're playing something that can use spells, even if you're not playing something that can use spells, like Frost Nova is pretty good. You can't really argue with that. Fire Trap's almost always good. Sweeps, decent. Ground Slam's okay as well. So those are the main kind of ones I think. I think that covers most of it. Cleave can also work well if you have some decent weapons and uniques to level with. But basically, you just want to use these skills, keep applying your passives as you would normally for your build, and then when you get to the point where you feel like you're getting to the point where the leveling skill is not getting benefited by your build very much, and maybe your primary skill that you actually want to start using, that's when you switch over. This will just depend on the type of build you play. Like, for example, I think with my Infernal Blow Marauder, that point for me was once I get Melee Splash. Before that point, I'm much better off using Sweep or Ground Slam. So that'll depend on the build and, that sort of thing. But in general, just put the skills that you do plan on using into your either offhand slots or into your gear wherever you can. Try and level them up as much as possible while using these other leveling your character skills, because that's probably the most efficient way to do it. But of course, if you want to keep to the theme of your character, and some people, enjoy the more game if they enjoy the game more if they play their character through as it's kind of themed. Like, if they're playing like a Split Arrow character, they would prefer to play Split Arrow the entire way through. And if you find that more fun, go ahead and do that. But the most efficient way is to use those leveling skills and then switch over once it becomes more efficient to do so. Next up, the next question comes in from Amy, my girlfriend, and she asks, why am I getting so many comments like, ZiggyD, no homo, but you look pretty sexy today? Yes, I'm answering this question because I think it can lead into an interesting point, and maybe getting a little bit rosy-cheeked here in this particular question. But The reason is, I have to say, it's just confidence. I've gotten a lot more confident in my video making. I'm doing the webcam thing more. I got like a HD cam, so I'm just like, on here, I'm feeling good. I'm keen to be making videos, and just the confidence comes across as attractiveness. I really have to say, I'm a much more attractive person when I'm confident. If you go back and look at some of my older videos, like go all the way back to the launch of Diablo 3, where I'm talking about the auction house.
G'day guys, ZiggyD here again. Today I just want to talk a bit about why items have been selling at the way they have on the real money auction house.
And I'm much less confident in that, and I did a few with webcam, and I don't look very attractive in those, I don't think. So it's all about the confidence. And I have to say, confidence comes from a few different things, but one thing that I think people tend to overlook a bit, confidence comes from when you're doing something that you want to be doing, that you agree with. If you're doing something that is kind of like at odds with, you know, what you feel, what you value, essentially. I talked about values in a Monday Musings a while ago. If you're doing something that's at odds with your values, then you're going to be much less confident in everything that you do. But if you're doing something that you really value, and that's what I'm doing, I'm doing this YouTube thing, I'm reaching out to people, I'm even helping people sometimes. Like, I did the Monday Musings on depression that I've told you guys about before, and it turned out I actually really helped some people with that. So I'm like super confident. I draw so much confidence from that, and I think that comes across and makes me a more attractive person. At least that's what I think it is. Maybe it's just the sexy hairdo. Anyway, there's always one thing I do every week that makes Amy crack up at me. Anyway, what's in the mug? If any of you guys guessed, I'm not even gonna award points because I don't think anyone would have guessed it this week. In the mug today is a cookie. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.